Hello, and thank you for joining me today. My name is Jill, and we'll be doing a relaxation or restorative class today. You will need a few props. You can use blocks, blankets, pillows, a bolster such as what I'm sitting on, and anything else that's going to be help to lift you up while you melt into the mat. Because today's class is all about winding down, slowing down, and letting go. So we're going to get started in Savasana. So we're going to come onto our mats and lay down on our backs. Before we do this, you can take any prop you have. I have a few blankets and blocks and everything to my side. You can take your blanket and you want the folded edge or the rounded edge closest to your shoulder. So you can take this level and you can make like a little burrito out of it and then take another blanket and do the exact same thing, but then bring it so you make a T with it. And if you do this, then your bottom is going to come right to the edge of the blanket, and then you can lie down. And your feet can be out. If you like, you can also have your feet, so the soles of the feet are together in couples pose. Or you can even have the feet on the mat while your knees are pointed towards the ceiling. If this is very uncomfortable for you, you can also, again, remove this blanket and you can maybe fold it up to make a little tiny log, such as this, and then place it underneath your knees. So it props up the knees, and again, my blanket at my head, the folded edge is going right up to my shoulder. And then I'm going to place this one right underneath my knees. Or I can place it right underneath my ankles as well. So it's entirely up to you. Or you can just use no props. We're just going to be here for a little bit. So just get nice and comfortable here. You're going to breathe in your own natural rhythm. Whether that's in through the nose and out through the mouth, or in through the nose and out through the nose. You don't want any tension in the breath. So just take a few moments here to get comfortable using any prop or non-props that you need. And throughout class, I will be guiding you on this practice. Excuse me. However, there will be times when I pause. And don't think I forgot about you, I haven't. I'm just allowing you to get deeper into the pose. If you like, you can place one hand on your heart and one on your stomach as you feel the breath going from your stomach, chest, throat, and then back down from throat, chest, stomach. Or you can have your hands to your side. few more breaths in this position. So what we're going to do is we're going to transition into a supine twist. So we're going to need to remove anything from our feet. So if you need to, you can bring your knees into your chest and then bring your hands underneath and then roll forward and backward till you get to an easy sitting position. And then you can just remove everything and then come back down. So I'm going to remove any prop I have at my feet. And what I'm also going to do is if I had anything right here that was at the T or right at the spine, I would remove that also. You can also leave the one blanket that was right at the shoulder. You can leave that. And then we're going to come back down onto our back. And we're going to bring the soles of our feet to our mat. And then we're going to walk the soles of our feet to the outside of our mat. So the inside of your foot and the outside of your mat should be meeting. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring our knees to the right as our feet go to the left. And it's okay if your knees do not touch the ground. That's not the point of this, but take a position. You do want to keep both shoulders on the mat though. And then your gaze is going to go over to your left shoulder. You can keep your arms nice and long beside you. You can cactus them if it's easier for you as well. This is just another version of the supine twist. It's just a wider stance with the legs, which allows more hip opening. So you might feel it in that left thigh area. Couple another breaths here. Bring your knees back up. If you need to, you can walk the soles of your feet back together and then lift the hips a little bit and then lower them. And then walk the feet back out to the edge of the mat. All that does is just realign the spine. And this time we're going to drop our knees to the left as our feet go to the right. And then our gaze is going to go over that right shoulder. Keeping both shoulders on the mat. This time now you're going to feel that stretch in that right thigh area. A few more breaths. Bring the knees back up towards the ceiling. We're going to toe heel those feet together again. Lift our hips and then lower back down. Just realigning ourselves. Let's just take a breath here. In through the nose. And a big sigh out through the mouth. So So we're going to bring our hands underneath our knees as we bring our knees into our chest. And we're going to rock forward and backward till we get to an easy sitting position once more. So I'm going to switch so you can see me. And here you can get a block or a bolster, or if you'd like to fold your blanket up and you can sit on it. So I have a little bolster. I don't have a really big one, but it does the trick. And this just allows you to have your hips higher than your knees. And then sit up nice and tall in the seats. Your hands can be face down to help ground you, or up to feel the vibration and energy in the room. We're just going to take a couple breaths here, just your natural breath here. So we're going to get ready to go into a 4-4-4 breath. And what this is we're going to inhale for 4, pause at 4, and then exhale for 4. And then we're just going to repeat that cycle. Inhale 4, pause 4, exhale 4, pause 4. Okay? So on your next inhale for 4 counts. And pause for 4 counts. Exhale for 4. Pause for 4. And repeat. Inhale for 4. And pause for 4. Exhale for 4. Pause for 4. And then continue to do that on your own here. One more, and then just come back to your natural breath. Fantastic job. Here we're just going to do some neck shoulder rolls. So we're going to bring our shoulders up by our ears and then back and down. So as you inhale, you can bring your shoulders up and exhale back and down. And just do a couple of these shoulder shrugs. Just loosening up any tension, tenseness, stress. Sitting at a computer all day, or even just standing all day can be tough. So little movements like this feels really good in the body. Do one more full one with your breath and then reverse it. So you inhale with your shoulders coming up from the back and then exhale down from the front. Then one more full one. There you go. Next we're going to do some neck rolls. So you can do this neck rolls one of 2 ways. You can bring your right ear to your right shoulder. You can stay here, or you can take your hand to the top of your head just very gently, just very light pressure, just enough to feel a little stretch in that side neck. Release the hand and bring the head up, and then to the left side, so left shoulder to left ear. Your hand can come to the top of the head, just again, really light pressure. Just enough to feel a nice stretch in that Side neck on the right side this time. Release the hand and have your head come up. So we're going to do that at least 2 more times. If that didn't feel good, then you can always just take your ear to the shoulder, and as you inhale, bring your head back, and then to the left, and then exhale, bring your head down. And then you can just reverse that. Do a couple of that with your breath, and then reverse it on the other side. Okay? So you have 2 different versions you can take. So once more, we're going to bring our right ear to our right shoulder. You can stay right here with no hands, or you can take your hand to the top of the head, just very gently, just light pressure. Just enough that you can feel that your hand is on your head. Release the hand, have the head come up, and then reverse to the other side. Now, if you are doing the circles with your neck, now would be a good time to reverse the circles. Release the hand and have your head come up. So here what I'm going to have you do is I'm actually going to have you reverse your feet. So if your right foot was in front, I now want your left in front. If you like, you can maybe wiggle the legs before you do that. Or you can have your legs out in front of you if that is also more comfortable. I'm just going to have you sway a little bit, just side to side, just gentle movements. If you don't like the side to side, maybe you like forward and backward a little bit. Just enough just to feel some movement in the body. Maybe you feel those little movements getting a little larger. Maybe instead of side to side or even rocking, you maybe want to just take yourself, your upper torso into like a circle. Again, this is completely optional. You can just stay at just a gentle rocking. We're just warming up the body here. If you like, maybe you want to take some movements. Maybe you want to move the shoulders or the arms a little bit. Again, completely optional. We're just simply warming up the body. If you're making a circle, maybe you want to reverse the circle this time. And then just do one more and then come to stillness. Fantastic. As you inhale, we're going to bring our hands up high above us, so as high as you'd like to go. And then as you exhale, just gently have the hands facing down and then come down to the mats. Inhale, bring the palms facing up as if you were bringing something up to meet the hands together. As if you were getting ready to hold something. And then exhale, release the hands to the mat. Inhale, the hands all the way up or as high as you like them to go. And exhale back down. Maybe just do a little gentle rocking here. So from here, we're going to remove any props that we might have. I'm going to come sit on the ground if you're not already there. So I'm going to remove my bolster. Come back to the actual seat of the mat. So I'm going to bring my legs So I'm going to have my feet so that they're touching the soles of the feet together. So I'm in butterfly pose. Now your feet can be out as far as you need them, or they're close to your pelvic area that is comfortable. What you can also do is take 2 blocks or 2 books, or maybe if you have canned goods, you can place them underneath the knees. And sometimes having our legs open this wide and in such a fashion can bring a lot of pressure to the hips. So these props like this will help with that pressure. So you can stay right here. You can take your hands to your feet. You can take your peace fingers and take it underneath the big toe, and then that fleshy part of the big toe in the back. Keeping your arms straight, but with a slight micro bend. We don't want to lock our elbows. Bring the shoulders up, back, and down. Trying to keep a straight back. You can stay right here. This is absolutely beautiful. Or if you like, you can lean forward and maybe your elbows open up, and then come to the fleshy part of the knee and help opening up those hips a little bit wider. So if you need to remove your hands from your feet, maybe come to the ankles and open up. Again, you can come and fold in this position, or you can stay straight. Whatever is more comfortable for you. Every day is completely different for everyone. One day you might be feeling very flexible and very good in this position. You can come all the way down, but then maybe the next day, not so much, because you're just holding some tension. Just breathe in into any spots that might feel a little tight. I know when people hear that, they're kind of thinking, huh? What? What I like to imagine is a bubble going down into those tight spots and then getting bigger, releasing anything. So when that bubble gets big, now it can get really small, and yet everything that was surrounding it that was nice and tight just feels loose because it was able to expand and get a little bit more stretch. Remembering your breath, maybe check in and see if that jaw is clenched. If it is, then just loosen the jaw, maybe make a couple of O's with your mouth. Just releasing any of that tension. Few more breaths here. I'm going to slightly come up if you have come down. Then release any prop you might have. Then bring your legs nice and long, and then just give them a couple wiggles. Just releasing anything. And what we're going to do is we're going to swing ourselves to one side, and we're going to come into tabletop position. So from here, we're going to be coming into tabletop. So our knees are underneath our hips, and then our wrists are underneath our shoulders. I like to splay my hands nice and wide, giving me a nice grip on the mat. Now your toes can be facing down, almost like they're smashing into the mat, or you can have your toes curled. It's entirely up to you in your practice. And we're going to just do a couple cat-cows here. So as you inhale, we're going to drop the belly, bring our gaze up, maybe pinch those shoulder blades. And then as you exhale, push your hands into the mat, bring your belly in and your gaze underneath. Inhale, dropping the belly, taking your gaze up. Exhale, bringing the gaze down, belly in. If you like to take any other organic movement that feels good, you may. Maybe you want to look over one shoulder, making a C with the body, and then the next. If it's in your practice, you can bring your bottom to your heels. and then back up, coming just a slightly forward from the wrist, so your shoulder's a little bit over the wrist, and then back. So it's completely up to you on what kind of movement you want to take here. We're just warming up the spine. Let's do 2 more and then come to a neutral spine. Back to tabletop. We'll all meet there. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to come into child's pose. So take any props that you might need. I'm going to get 2 blocks, and I like to bring my blocks so they're one right in front of each other, almost like a choo-choo train. And then I'm going to get my thicker of 2 blankets. So I'm going to get my Indian blanket, and I'm going to fold it like a burrito. And before I place it on my blocks, I like to place my bolster down first. So now I have some heights. And again, props are optional in this particular pose. So you can do 2 ways, child's pose. You can have your knees together and then come forward in the child's pose. Or you can have your toes touching and then bring your knees wide as the mats. And then bring the blocks a little bit closer to the pelvic area so you do have something to lean on. And then you can bring your head to the mat, to your props. Or if you have your head coming forward more, you can bring another prop with you. You can also take a second blanket or pillow and then place it in between your heels and your bottom. Or you can even place the blankets underneath the 2 knees. So you have a couple different options here. And then your arms can just be at your side, or they can be out in front of you. And just take a moment here just to melt into this pose. Let your props be the what lift you up. you feel ready, come up onto your hands, so you just come up a little bit. Maybe bring those knees back together. Remove any props you might have. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to do child's pose, pigeon. We just did child's pose. So you can keep the same props you have at the ready. We're going to come back into tabletop. We're going to curl our toes and then shoot our hips up and back. Maybe give your dog a walk here. Just bring some blood flow back into those knees. Child's pose can be a little rough on those knees sometimes. But at the same time, it's a really great position to be in and open those hips a little bit and just be able to kind of melt into the mat and let go. So from here, we're going to bring our right leg nice and high. And then as we exhale, we're going to bring it underneath us and then come into a 7 with our legs. So you can do pigeon pose one or two ways. You can have that front leg nice and parallel to the edge of the mat or at a slant. It really depends on your hips and how tight they are. You can bring that left leg nice and long behind you. Make sure it's nice and straight. You can get you want your hips to be nice and even. So if you need to, you can bring another block or prop and place it underneath that right hip. And once you feel your hips are even, and you have all your props in front of you that you need, again, I'm using my 2 other blocks with a bolster, and then I'll use a blanket on top. I tend to like height in this particular position. And then you can just let go and come down. Now, if this is a lot for you in this particular position, you can remove that block. And then you can bring that left leg so it's bent. And I'm going to show you from the front view. So I'm going to move myself. So I'm going to bring that right leg so it's parallel to the edge of the mat. And then I'm just going to have that left leg bent. And if it's in your practice, again, you can come down with your props. If you have blocks, bolsters, pillows, you can come down. Or you can just bring your hands right here in front of you. This is absolutely beautiful as well. Or you can rock your hands to the right side. Again, you have a couple different options here. Find which one works best for you. And if it's comfortable, if you come to the right side in the modified version, if it is comfortable, you can also come down and bring some blocks or props with you as well. Check in on that jaw, make sure it's not clenched here. Just release it, maybe make a couple of O's with the mouth. Just releasing that tongue. So if you are in a regular sleeping pigeon pose, which is the false variation, you can come up to your hands, you can curl those back toes, and then shoot yourself up to a three-legged dog, maybe opening the hip by bringing that right heel to the left buttock, or you can walk the dog as well. If you are in the modified version, then come back up to center, and then you're going to just swing your hips, so now you're sitting regular, and just wiggle the legs a little bit, just bring some blood flow back into those knees. And then wherever you're at, just come to stillness. So if you're going to do sleeping pigeon again, but on the left side, you're going to bring that left leg nice and high, and then come underneath the torso and make the number 7 with your left leg. That right leg is going to be nice and straight, so take a look behind you, make sure that leg is straight. If you need to, once again, bring that prop underneath the hip. And then bring any props you need, and then walk your hands forward to sleeping pigeon after you have come adjusted, and bring the hips to even to the mat, excuse me. And if you're going to do the modified version, we're just going to bring that left leg in front of us and swing that right leg so it's nice and bent. Again, you can stay right here with your hands in front of you. You can rock your hands to the left. And in either position, if it's comfortable, you can come down to any prop that you might have. Maybe coming back to that natural breath, taking a moment to check in, see where you're at, how you feel. So if you're in regular sleeping pigeon, we're going to come onto the hands. You're going to curl those back toes, and you're going to bring yourself to a three-legged dog. Opening the hip, bring that left heel to the right buttock this time, or you can place both feet on the ground and then just walk the dog. If you're in the modified version, just swing your hips to one side, and then bring your legs in front of you and just give a nice shake. And then we're going to come to stillness. So anyone who is already in down dog, come to your knees, and then you're going to swing your hips to one side, and we're going to lower onto your backs. So for anyone who is already in a seated position, we're just going to swing ourselves onto our back. You are going to want to bring a prop with you, preferably a block or something that's going to be sturdy to hold you up, because we're going to do a supported bridge. We're going to do 2 variations of this bridge. So when you come down, nice and slowly onto your back, you can bring the soles of your feet to your mat, and you want them as close to your bottom as you can get them. If it's in your practice, maybe your fingertips graze the heels. If not, not a problem. Not everyone does. I know mine does not either, so. And then we're going to have a block with us. And before we do anything, we're just going to take 2 breaths here. you do want to make sure you have enough room here. So I'm going to scooch down a little bit. Just take 2 deep cleansing breaths in through the nose and a big sigh out through the mouth. One more time, in through the nose and a big sigh out through the mouth. On the next inhale, we're going to lift our hips and we're going to take that block right underneath our sacrum area. So you want it right underneath your sacrum. And you want it so it's not holding you. So if you do feel any pain, readjust or let go of the block and remove it. You can pinch your shoulder blades and bring your shoulders up underneath. Your hands can be nice and long in front of you. Maybe you want to grab the block if that's in your practice. Have your hands underneath your clasp. Or you can robot your arms as well. And we're just going to have the block hold us up here. So just come to that natural breath, one we've been using all through our practice. On your next inhale, lift the hips and then remove any prop. And then slowly lower back down. And just take a big cleansing breath here. In through the nose. A big sigh out through the mouth. We'll go once more, come back to a supported bridge. So as you inhale, bring that prop underneath. Making sure you're nice and comfortable and not in pain in this particular pose. So you have 2 options here. You can stay right here in the supported bridge, or if you like, you can bring your legs up one at a time and do legs up the wall. This particular pose with legs up at the wall is a really great if you have a migraine or a headache. It does help relieve any tension you might have. One at a time, just lower the legs back down. And take an inhale, release that prop from underneath. Once more, we're just going to take a full breath here. In through the nose. A big sigh out through the mouth. Bring your knees into your chest. We're going to bring our hands underneath our knees and we're going to rock forward and backward till we get to a seated position. And I'm once more going to face the camera so you can see me. So we have a couple different variations of forward fold. So you can take any prop that you might have. You can bring your legs together with your toes pointed towards the ceiling. And once you get enough height or as high as you'd like to go, then just bring your shoulders, pinching your shoulder blades, opening the chest. As you inhale, going nice and tall, and exhale, just come forward. Maybe your forehead rests on the pillows or props. Now, if this is not comfortable for you, you can bring everything to the ground that we just did, and you can bring yourself to a wide-legged fold. And if this is enough height, this is great. Again, you're going to keep your toes pointing towards the ceiling. So if this is enough height with your props, you can once more open the chest. As you inhale, lifting yourself up, and exhale, come forward. Or you can bring your block and make a T. I like to have 3 blocks in this particular position because it gives me more of a sturdier trunk to walk with. And you're going to bring your props close into you. Again, bring that chest, open it up. Inhale, get nice and tall, and then exhale, slowly fold. Maybe it's in your practice, you can grab your toes or your ankles or your calves, or you can just have your hands gently on your thighs. Forehead's going to come to the mat. Excuse me, to your props, not to your mat. Again, checking in with the jaw, make sure that the jaw's not clenched. Release the tongue from the roof of the mouth. few more breaths here in this particular position. Slowly come up, remove any props you might have. What we're going to do is we're going to swing ourselves onto our stomachs. And before you do get that, you might want to have a blanket for your head, and then you will want at least one block. Again, if you take the blanket, you want that folded edge right where your head's going to be, so your shoulders meet it. So we're going to come down onto our stomachs. You can come into it from any direction. I'm going to come into it from tabletop, and I'm going to level stomach, chest, chin. So again, my blanket is right at my shoulders. I'm going to take my block here, and I'm going to bring my hands in front of me as if I'm going to bring my head onto my hands. I'm going to come a little bit more onto my left side. So I'm lifting that right side body up off the mat. My left leg is going to be nice and straight behind me. And with this block I have in front of me, I'm going to place my leg or my knee onto this block. If you like, you can also place one on your foot or underneath the foot and lift it both up. You can also do this with a blanket or even a rolled up towel. And we're just going to come into a supported prone hip opener pose. So come up to your hands or to your forearms, and we're just going to switch sides. So we're going to remove that block from the right and place it onto our left side. If you need to reposition yourself on your stomach, go ahead. Once more, we're going to bring our arms out in front of us as if we're going to place our hands onto our lap, our head onto our arms. We're going to bring that left leg onto the block or a blanket, depending on what you decide to use. And we'll move on to the right side, so that left side body is up off the mat. And that right leg is nice and straight behind us. So we're going to come back up onto our forearms, remove any prop that you might have. We're going to come up into a tabletop position. And then from here, we're just going to do a couple cat-cows, just to relieve any pressure that we might have. So as you inhale, drop the belly, bring the chin up, pinch those shoulder blades, and then as you exhale, bring your belly in, gaze down underneath, pushing your hands into the mat. Just do a couple of these on your own. If you'd like to make any organic movement, you may. So we're going to come to a neutral spine. Then we're just going to swing our hips to one side and come to a seated position. And then we're going to lay down onto our backs. So if you need to, bring the soles of your feet together, bring your arms out in front of you, and then slowly lower onto your back. And once there, bring the knees into the chest. We're going to thread our hands in between our knees and grab the outside of our feet for happy baby. If you like, you can rock side to side. Maybe one leg is long and then the other. Bring your knees back into your chest. Give yourself a big, big hug. And then exhale into Savasana. So from here, again, you can use any prop you like. If you need to use the blocks to put underneath your feet, or even stand them up tall and place them underneath your knees. You can do the blanket underneath the shoulders, and then bring it another one at the spine and make that little T. Get nice and comfortable here. You'll be here for a while. I will not be doing Savasana with you, just to let you know. Coming back to the breath as you settle in. Letting the body soak up all the goodness we've done. Just sink in to the mats, into the ground in this particular pose, the last one of class. In an age of speed, I begin to think nothing could be more invigorating than going slow. In an age of distractions, nothing can feel more luxurious than paying attention. And in the age of constant movement, nothing is more urgent than sitting still. Coming back to your breath, doing nothing, just noticing, no judgments. Imagine your fingers wiggling. Now wiggle your fingers. Imagine your toes wiggling. Now wiggle your toes. Maybe give yourself a good big stretch. And then come to a fetal position on either side, using your lower arm as a pillow. Place the upper hand on the ground, letting you know that you are here. With that upper hand, push yourself into an easy sitting position. Let's take one last breath together. Inhale, bringing your hands up overhead as high as you'd like them to go. And then as you exhale, bringing them down through the heart center. I want to thank you so much for allowing me to be part of your journey today and for guiding you on your practice. The love light in me honors and cherishes the love light in all of you. Namaste. Thank you again so much for joining me. I am very appreciative of everyone who has watched this video. Positivity and light to you and yours.